having that certificate that you pass that you could say, okay, I know how to make sure your house is clean, your company, because this is where my training's from. When you first started, did you clean?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It was starting out. I was at everything. And again, this is just the principle of scale. My goal was I want to be profitable rather than out of the equation to begin with. And so we were profitable early because I don't have to worry about, always subbing myself out. Even today, I'll still come into projects that I feel need a little bit more oversight. We actually just quoted a project. Again, we don't do a lot in residential, but we're starting a new potential partnership with a company that does a lot of mold remediation, and we would come in and kind of back in and clean for them. But that is a very, very high level of taking everything out of cabinets, everything off of bookshelves, individually cleaning everything. It's very, very detailed work. So for stuff like that, I'm going to come in with the crew and be like, hey, this is we're doing something a little differently here, right? This is a high level operation that we're not going to be in a standard situation. So I'm still as involved as I need to be to move the needle for new things that have come into the business. But yeah, starting out, I was cleaning everything with everybody. So, yep.
Well, because I mean, something like what you just talked about with that mold, but that'd be like smoke also. I mean, the smoke gets into everything. That if there,
Yep.
when there was a fire, even if the fire's in the garage or far away, that smoke gets
Oh yeah.
into everything.
Oh
And
yeah.
people, luckily some insurance pay for that, so you can actually do everything you need, and some don't because they
Right.
didn't keep the insurance. But we'll move on
Yep.
from there. So you've been doing this. How long you been running this company? 2020, so we're about 5
A
years,
little over
almost
5 years. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Through this process, I'm sure you've had some learning experiences that we usually call, So what did you learn that you want to tell people that, hey, this, because people need to understand you're going to have failures along the way, and learning from those are so important. If you haven't had any failures, you're not pushing the envelope.
Oh yeah, definitely. So in regards to Lex Clean, I think one of the most notable things that was very difficult for me to adjust to and understand was the transition from residential into commercial work. Because when you're running a residential cleaning company, you're billing all of your clients due on receipt. Those are just very standard terms. They're going to pay the same day you deliver the work. And so your cash flow is not really a real consideration, right? Money is coming in about the same rate you're taking it out. So it's fine. That's all flowing well. When you get to commercial, and particularly where we thrive now, which is manufacturing, production, distribution facilities, you now have a corporate client, and they don't pay anything the day that you bill them. They pay net 30 if you're on good terms, and longer than that if you're brand new. And so the thing about that obviously is when you have employees, they are not going to be waiting for 60 or 90 days to get their paychecks. You're still paying them all the way along. So that cash flow adjustment was a big learning curve, and I hadn't done it yet. So we got into it. We were almost, not entirely, but almost given a pretty large contract. Our first commercial contract was like a pretty healthy size that just a friend that I knew worked at the plant, and it's like, hey, our company's on the way out. I know you do great work. Come bid this. So we did. I bid actually more than I thought was even reasonable because I really wanted to get off my back. I didn't want to be in that line of work. And then he's like, sure, price looks great. I thought, great, we're going to make a lot of money. This is awesome. And that whole process, I had to learn like over the next several months what cash flow needs to look like when you are transitioning to that sector. And it's very, very different. And I didn't have anybody at that time who was in my place a bit like in the cleaning industry that I could really speak to at a high level.